Welcome everyone from the Urban Center of Trieste. I'd like to thank all the people connected to the live streaming and those who will be watching the recording. Indeed, I remind you that this event is recorded and that you can find it and as all the others in the video library of our website and on the YouTube channel of Municipality of Trieste in the playlist dedicated to the Urban Center. Today's event will present the second edition of the call by the Municipality of Trieste for startups and spin-off settlement in the Urban Center of Trieste. This new edition, which broadens the possibility to participate also to international startups, is open from July 1st, and the next available deadline to apply is July 30th. During this event, Costanza Conti, representative of the Bio4Dreams Grand Office, will present the details of the call, its objectives, and how to participate. Thank you, Costanza.
Hi, everyone. I'll be describing you the call and I will start sharing my slide deck. As Nicole said, this is the new international call for Italian and European startups to settle at the Urban Center. The call is promoted by Urban Center and the Municipality of Trieste, and you can find all the relevant information and all the relevant documentation at the Comune di Trieste website. Below you can find the link where there are the call text and other templates for the application. This new call has 3 different cutoff dates. The first one is at the end of July, then there is another one at the end of August, and the last one at the end of September 2022 always. What is the aim of this call? The aim of this call is to provide the spaces and services at the Urban Center. In particular, the call can award workstation at the Urban Center, 2 workstations per project, and access to the center facilities, together with access at opportunity aimed at encouraging entrepreneurship and development and growth of companies. The awardees are also provided with access in a non-exclusive way to services intended for the users of the Urban Center, and then will be part of the digital showcase that will be created with the selected companies. Such services and access to facilities is provided completely free of charge and to funding that is provided by the POR-FES program for the development of entrepreneurial activities in the biotech and high-tech sectors. One limitation of this call is that the occupation of the Urban Center will have a strict deadline, which is the end of September 2023. As Nicole mentioned before, the Urban Center of Trieste is an hub developed and implemented by the Municipality of Trieste, where companies, research, and people talk about innovation. It's an important area of 2,000 square meters, that is part of the redevelopment of the old port of Trieste. And it's conceived especially for development of entrepreneurial activities in the digital, high-tech, and biotech sectors, in particular in the biotech, biomedical, and bioinformatics areas. In particular, the center is structured in 3 different areas that correspond to the center floors. The ground floor corresponds to the Fab Lab that is meant for rapid prototyping of technologies. The first one is meant for functional contamination activities, which is basically a center where are promoted the interplay between different innovation players and for activities meant to promote self-entrepreneurship. while the second floor is mainly meant as spaces and modules for startup and spin-off. Who can be the beneficiaries of this specific call? The beneficiaries are SMEs, as defined by the European Regulation 651 of 2014, established as a startup or spin-off with the majority of shareholding of natural person. Such companies should also be operating in the biotech and in the high-tech areas, as defined by a specific list of ISTAT codes for the Italian regulation, and which correspond to specific NIA's code as defined in the regulation of the European Community 1893 of 2006. The access to this call is not permitted for entities which have in their shareholder structures majority and, well, a large part, let's say, of more than 35% of shareholders belonging to VC, incubators, business angels, or companies on the market. And the companies that have also in their shareholders a high percentage of subjects that are part of the consortium managing the urban center are not allowed to participate. The cutoff percentage is 20%. In addition, companies with in which the corporate structure includes one person that is also in the organizational chart of the Urban Center Managing Consortium are not allowed to participate to the call. So this is a call that is mainly aimed at spin-off and startup companies with the natural person as shareholders. And this is a translation of the ATECO codes that are specific for Italy, but which mostly correspond to NIA's code implemented by the European regulation. The definition of SME, also reported in the EU regulation mentioned before, is based on headcounts and on annual turnover and balance sheet. Any company is defined as a SME if the company has less than 2,050 people and an annual turnover not exceeding 50 million euros, or an annual balance sheet that is not exceeding 43 million euros. Within the SME category, there are also two subdivisions, let's say, of companies that are defined as small enterprises and companies that are defined as micro enterprises. For the small enterprise, the limit is of 50 people, and the annual turnover or the balance sheet should not exceed 10 million euros, while for micro enterprises, the limit is 10 persons, 10 employees, and an annual balance sheet or a turnover that does not exceed 2 million euros. The action is specifically targets specifically some areas. Such areas are the innovative therapy chain, including biotechnology and pharmaceutical development, biomedical in vivo diagnostics with in vitro and in silico diagnostics chain, ambient assisted living, digital health related for the area of population health management, and personal services chain. Or there are also sectors as the nutraceutical chain and the veterinary therapy chain, and the digital high-tech and information technology chain. Each project presented must refer to one sector only. The basic services that are provided together with the space are the logistics, which include reception, security guard, day-to-day management and cleaning, consumption of utilities, including electricity, drinking water, and ordinary maintenance of the spaces, as well as local wired or wireless connectivities for internet access. In addition, the beneficiaries of this call might apply to one or all the services that are defined as advanced services, so are services that are requested specifically by each company depending on their needs and requirements. There are a number of ICT applications, including the business collaboration application, the multimedia business showcase application, the Urban Center concierge, the visual collaboration wall, virtual event, or Urban Center cloud high performance computing with the 1,000 machine hours offered. Beneficiaries might also have access to the Grant Observatory, which provides information on regional, national, and European calls and grants, access to templates meant to support the company to develop presentation for investors. The beneficiary will be able to use the communication tools of the communication unit of the consortium managing the Urban Center in order to help disseminating the results of their project and in general to promoting their startups with their specific products or services. In addition, the beneficiaries will be able to access the technical, scientific, and industrial networks for prototyping new products, or networks related to regulatory and clinical studies, or networks that are linked to financials for pre-seed, seed, or round A investment. The consortium will also, the managing consortium of the Urban Center will also provide access to specific industry networks in the business development and product marketing phase. In addition, in the context of the animation activities that are promoted at the Urban Center, the manager will reserve up to 40% of the available seats to the resident companies. Which is the type of benefit? So this, let's say, the benefit described before is provided as a de minimis grant. De minimis grant is a specific regulation that is described by the EU regulation number 1407 of 2015, which describe a specific type of grant, which is a specific ceiling of 2,000 euros over 3 years. So there are a number of grants that use this type of regulation that are provided under this regulation. So all the companies that apply for this call should check if they are beneficiaries of other calls or grants that are provided in the minimis modality, and check if the threshold of 2,000 euros for the 3-year reference period is if they are below this threshold, or if they pass the threshold already. The beneficiaries can apply only if the ceiling set are not exceeded. And of course, in the application, there will be specific form to assess this point. The benefit is quantified as an all-inclusive fee on a monthly basis in recorded to the station, the workstation allocated. So there is a specific formula which consider 8 square meter of use for each workstation. The only important constraint for this grant is that the expenses covered by this specific grant are covered only by this de minimis type of benefit, and are not cumulated with other grants in the same de minimis measure. In any case, these are expenses that should be covered only exclusively by this specific grant. The application will be assessed in a two-step process. First, there will be an overall eligibility assessment, mostly based on the verification of the prerequisites of eligibility of the company. And then there will be a technical assessment which is focused on the project. I start from the assessment because it really helps the applicants in better understanding the documents that will need to be prepared for the call. For what concerns the technical assessment, there are 4 main assessment criteria. The first is team characteristics, which gives the projects up to 33 points. Then there is financial sustainability, which gives to the project up to 22 points. Networking, which gives up to 25 points, and intellectual protection, which gives up to 5 points. Each score is automatically assigned by a grid table that I will show you after. In addition, there is the possibility for each proposal to be awarded with additional points, premiums defined for specific categories of enterprises. So the call text provide a very clear definition of what is a youth enterprise and a youth startups based on the Italian regulation. The youth enterprise is considered fulfilling the requirements of this category if the majority of the shareholders or the natural person of a company are persons which have no more than 35 years of age. While for the youth startup, the definition is slightly different, and the cutoff is 40 years of age. Sorry, there is a mistake in this slide. Actually, the blue one is 40. For female enterprise, the concept is very similar, but the majority of the natural person or the majority of the shareholders needs to be females. While for innovative startups, there are a specific definition by the Italian regulation, and it's a specific classification, a specific certification that the company needs to hold. In general, startups are defined as companies that have been funded no more than 60 months before the grant application. The assessment grid is a further detail of the technical assessment criteria defined above. So for what concerns the team characteristics, the assessment parameters are the size of the company structure, so number of partners and shares. So the score is higher if there are more partners. Another point is related to persons employed directly, who have been conferred a corporate office or by means of a fixed term or open-ended employment contract or traineeship. The higher the number of the people employed, the higher the score. In addition, there are additional points for highly specialized personnel. which, for example, point C, confers additional scores if the person employed by the company have a master's degree, while point D confers additional point if the person holds a PhD or a specialization diploma. There is also a specific assessment parameters which is related to employees. In this case, employees are in the strict definition of employees under the Italian regulation. So with the specific type of contract that is regulated by INAIL position. For what concerns the financial sustainability, there are the points, the scoring is higher, depending on the funding and contributions obtained through calls and grants. If in the past years the company had more than 30,000 euros of contribution obtained, the score there is a higher score. Then there is a specific point related to investment from companies or private public business angels. Also in this case, the higher the investment obtained, the higher the score. And then there is a point related to the business turnover. Also in this case, the higher the turnover, the higher the score. Attention is also given to networking capabilities of the company, which is measured by the number of letters of expression of interest related to the project provided, and by collaboration agreements or partnership agreements between the company and other research center, university, companies in the sector, or any other important shareholder for their business. For what concerns the intellectual property, there is, well, depending on the area of the business, there are different evaluations. So a specific point, a specific parameter is the copyright filing to protect the technological solution, which gives a score to digital companies, and number of patents that apply to all companies. How to submit the application. So the application needs to be sent within the cutoff days previously defined by registered email at the registered email of Comune di Trieste. And this is the specific account, email address, PAC address actually, which is also available in the call text. Also, the call text provides a specific title for the registered email to be sent. For companies that are based abroad and may not have registered email, the Urban Center provides a specific support and can be delegated through specific forms that are also available in the web page of the call, and can definitely support the foreign companies in submitting the documentation in the most appropriate way. The application, you will see in the next slide that among the documentation to be submitted, the application and other specific form needs to be digitally signed. For companies that are not based in Italy or that don't have digital signature, qualified electronic signature is also considered appropriate. Qualified electronic signature is provided by specific providers which use specific encrypted codes, And one of the most commonly used is DocuSign, but there are also different companies that provide this service. Which documents need to be submitted? So the documents to be submitted are 4. The first one is the application form, which is an overall summary of the application, needs to be provided using a template that will be available on the call webpage. And this document needs to be signed, as I said before. Then there is a declaration that is an Excel file, which also will need to be signed by the legal representative of the company. The format also in this case is available both in the Italian and English version in the call web page. This declaration is probably a little bit more complex, and we will go through it in the next slides. Then there is the project report, which is basically the narrative part of the project, and needs to be developed according to a template that will be also provided in the call text. And it's meant to integrate, let's say, the information that are provided in the declaration above. Then there is the pitch deck with 10 slides that you should complete following the template provided in the call web page. There are, in addition, a specific the payment of 16 euros is also required for the submission for administrative taxes. And there are 2 possibilities, F23 or F24. And if you're based abroad and if you're not familiar with this type of taxes, I strongly suggest you to contact the Urban Center info point to ask for explanation, or myself for further information. These are the assessment criteria, as mentioned before. Oh, sorry. Assessment grid, sorry. Okay, application form. The application form is the first document to be provided. It reports the enterprise name, the name of the title of the project, and the number of workstation requested. In addition, the applicant needs to provide a number of information related to the offices, the legal headquarters, and the type of activities, the type of business of the company. In addition, the data of the legal representatives needs also to be provided here. All the other documents of the submission are considered as annexes of this letter. I will go through the declaration in lieu of certification and affidavit, which is probably the most complex document to be filled, and is strongly linked to the evaluation, to the assessment of the technical quality of the proposal. So it starts with the declaration of the type of enterprise, only startup, if startup or spin-off, and in the area of business. So ATECO codes if it's a company based in Italy, or NIA's code if it's a company based abroad. In addition, it asks for which is the prevalent sector of the proposal submitted. So each company should choose one of the sectors that are supported under this code. Then you will see that the other parts of this declaration follow strictly the evaluation template. So here we have a declaration related to team characteristics. And the forms specifically request the number of shareholders, up to 2 or from 3 onward. the number of people employed directly or with a corporate position. Then for the person that are declared at point B, the form requests the type of the level of education, let's say. So master degree or equivalent, and below PhD or specialty diploma. And point E, as I mentioned before, is let's say a subgroup of employees, which are the employees under typical employees contract, according registered at INAIL position. The number 5 below, so all the questions that refer to the item 5 are questions that describe the financial sustainability of the company. Again, it proposes exactly the same parameters that are used in the assessment grid. So the form asks the company to declare the amount of funding obtained through call for grants or for tenders. At point B, the funding obtained an investment from companies or private public business angels, and the company turnover. At point 6, there are the parameters meant to assess the networking capacity of the company. And it asks for the number of letters of expression of interest that are provided together with the submission, the number of collaboration or partnership agreements in place. While at point 7, the form asks details about the intellectual protection measures that are implemented by the company. The first one is copyright, and the second one is patents. At point 8, the company declares that the company provides a specific declaration about the de minimis grant, while in point 9 there is the company, the applicant should indicate if the company is a micro enterprise, a small enterprise, or medium-sized enterprise. This classification is based on the definitions I described you before. So it's based on the headcounts, annual turnover, and balance sheet. Point 10 asks about premiality criterion. So whether the company is a youth enterprise or startup, a female enterprise, or an innovative startup. This is the de minimis declaration, which is another part of the certification that you will need to complete. And it's a little bit complex in case the company has controls or has affiliated or associated parties. The first section is about controls. So if the company is directly or indirectly controlled by other companies, and in case the company's controls, you will need to provide the names of other companies controlling and their fiscal code. Here you have to provide information related to previous de minimis grants. So if you were already awarded with grants that are under the de minimis modality, you need to indicate them with specific details of the project and of the amount received. At point 5, the enterprise need to indicate in which sectors it operates to be eligible for the minimis funding. Another part of the declaration is about calculating the company size. So as per European regulation, companies can be defined as autonomous if the enterprise is either completely independent or has a minority partnership, each less than 25% with other enterprises. On the contrary, if the company has any share partnership, let's say, with other companies that is higher than 25%, can be classified as partner or associated in case the other enterprises hold at least 25%, but no more than 50% of the shares, or link or affiliated enterprise if holding with other enterprise exceeds the 50% threshold. And in case you have some doubts about this definition, I suggest you a link below, which is a summary document prepared by the European Commission that is quite helpful. Again, in the format provided with the declaration, you will need to calculate the company size. So in the first section, you will need to indicate the shareholder's name, and at point 2, you will see a summary table in which you will need to indicate the total number of employees, the annual turnover, the total financial statement asset. These figures are the figures of the company in case the company is an independent company. But if the company has affiliated or associated enterprises, the calculation is more complex and we need to take into consideration the other section of the form. So section B is specifically for enterprises to list enterprises that are directly associated with the applicant enterprise. So in this case, you will need to list all the companies that hold more than 25% of the shares and their number of employees, the annual turnover, the financial statement asset, and the percentage of share. At the end of the form, so at point 3, you will need, the form will help you to calculate which proportion of the associated companies, employees, and financial data needs to be added to the applicant company for the calculation of the company total size. Part C of the form is to be completed in case the applicant company has affiliated enterprises. In this case, the sharing is higher than 50%, so you will need to consider in the total point 4 the total amount of the affiliated companies. So these figures you see below on the right, that the total of this data need to be reported in table in the table above point B, section A, and you will need to add the figures of the affiliated companies to the applicant company numbers figures to obtain the real size of the company. This process might be simple or complex, and it's really depending on the company corporate structure and shareholding structure. And I strongly suggest, if you have any doubt, to contact me or the Urban Center info point to have further information. The additional document that you need to provide is the project report, which is the proposal, basically. The template will be also available in the call webpage, and it includes a description of the company, including company history, which product and technologies are developed by the company, and existing collaboration. Then there is an area for the description of the project in which the applicant should provide the background of the sector and rationale for the declaration provided in the form above. So, for example, if in Excel file you declare that you have 3 people involved in the company, including employees or people with a corporate position, you will need here to list the people with name, type of contract, and employment date, and for each people holding a master degree or other titles like PhD, specialization, etc., you will need again to list the name, type of contract, position, and employment date. For the financial sustainability, you will need to provide the background information of what you provided in the Excel file. So you will need to list all the grants and all the loans awarded, list of investment obtained, describing also the institution providing the investment. And in this case, you should consider the total investment provided by each. Then you will also need to provide the financial data as the annual turnover. For the networking, you will need to attach supporting letters. For the supporting letter, there are no specific format. You are free, and also the companies providing support letters are totally free to draft their letters as they wish. And it's an attachment, it's a free attachment. And then you can refer to partnership agreements with other public or private entities. Again, sorry, the evaluation process. So once you will have submitted all the documentation, the evaluation procedure, which, as I already mentioned before, includes a formal admissibility assessment and a technical assessment, will last for 30 days. In order to be eligible, the proposal must achieve an overall score of 55 or higher. In case of projects with the same ranking, the priority is given to projects with the higher score in the team characteristics area. And if it is not sufficient, the financial sustainability in the networking will be considered, while if also considering these specific areas that the ranking will be the same, the chronological order of submission will be considered. The municipality of Trieste will notify the successful candidate in the ranking list of the outcome of the assessment and of the allocation of the benefits when the evaluation is complete. Within 30 days from the communication, the companies must communicate, again using registered mail, their acceptance. And the company has 90 days from the letter received from the award notification to sign the agreement with the Urban Center and move to the Urban Center. If the beneficiaries don't have a registered office or operational office in Trieste, they are obliged to set up an operational office or a registered office in the province of Trieste within 90 days from the date of the grant order. And the beneficiary may set their office in the urban center, so providing the address and the of the spaces, exactly the spaces that they were awarded. And this is basically all you need to know to apply to this grant. And if you have any question or need any help, please contact me. There is my contact email below, or contact the info mail, support mail of the Urban Center. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Costanza, for this interesting details of the call. Now we can wait if there is some question from the audience. So we don't have a question for the moment, but you give all your contacts. So if someone has something to ask, they can do it when they see the recording of this meeting. And so I thank you again and have a nice day.
Thank you.